This is Gene DeLisio with a featured sports interview from WDLB and WOSQ. Julie Jansen was a Marshfield Tigers sports standout in track, cross-country, and gymnastics in the mid-1980s and was inducted into the Marshfield Tiger Athletic Hall of Fame in 2008.
I'm very excited to be back in Marshfield, Wisconsin. I think the honor is... it just brought back a lot of memories, and it reminded me why Marshfield is just a fantastic community that I'm always happy to visit, and to see all these familiar faces that guided me in my life has been humbling and also motivating me once again to just keep trying the best I can.
When you look back on high school athletics, anything that stands out in your mind?
I know now I have 4 boys of my own, and they're all in sports as well. And the major difference between now and back when I was in high school, which was from 82 to 86, is that I was, I think, able to be much more well-rounded. I could do madrigal singing, I could be involved with the band, I could do a lot of things, and also be able to excel in sports. Whereas my boys now, they are kind of forced to be either more into the arts or more into sports. It's kind of more of an either or, and that choice seems to be having to be made earlier and earlier. So that's my one concern about sports nowadays for kids. You hope that they can try and do all things, and sometimes you just can't. Can't do it all.
Tell us about your memories of track and cross country, 2 sports you really stood out at Marshfield High School, some of your accomplishments, and some of the coaches who guided you as well.
Well, some of my thoughts about cross country and track are that we just had really dedicated coaches. They came out in the snow and the rain, and they were right out there with us, running and cheering us on, and very positive. Coach Greenwood stands out in my mind because he was a very good man and excellent role model in the classroom, excellent role model as a coach, and he motivated me to really decide to put forth my best effort always. And if I failed, you know what? It didn't matter. Get up and try again, and do it for the team. I mean, the individual sports, like the hurdles, were very important and brought in a lot of points for the team. But the mile relay was just as important, and there were four people on that, and that was really great to be part of those mile relay teams. Coach Andy Mook was my coach for many years in track, and he was someone who really promoted team and fun and tried new things like isometrics, and I mean that's old news now, but in 1982 I think it was kind of a new deal. So he brought some interesting ideas to improve your response time, your start time, for instance. Weight training was something that we worked on with him. So that was, he brought a lot to the students, to the athletes. The cross country was, for me, really a great release. I didn't focus on that as much, but that was a great way to get in shape and stay in shape for gymnastics and then also for track, and really had fabulous times in all those sports that I did.
You also mentioned gymnastics, and you were a standout in that sport as well. How about some thoughts about competing in gymnastics for several years?
Gymnastics was just a joy. Very frightening to do all around. The beam was something that was always something that very challenging. Janalee Kaiser was very helpful, and like my mentor, she was only a year or two older than I was, but she spent a lot of time. She was a standout on the beam, and she had a very hard routine, but she would teach me some things and always encourage me to try new things, and she would watch my routine and make comments. And Marie Welch was the coach, and she was a very gracious and helpful coach, and she would help make comments about my vaulting. Vaulting was great because you run, and running was always good for me. So the vault was very exciting. Really enjoyed gymnastics. It was like no other sport because you're out there and you have to be artistic and athletic at the same time. I don't think there's much artistry to the 60-meter hurdles. You just go as fast as you can, as hard as you can. But in gymnastics, it's a little more revealing of your personality and your person. And so it was great. It really helped mold me and how to be, the best overall person I could be. Very revealing sport.
Did you consider yourself to be a pioneer back then? It was an early day for girls' athletics. Did that thought ever enter your mind at all?
Well, in a bit of a way it did. I was very fortunate to have a lot of different sports available to me. I grew up with all the boys in my neighborhood, the Kleins, the Wines, the Bergs, all boys, and my 2 older brothers. So if I wanted to play with anybody, I better get out there and play with all the boys. So I didn't think of myself as a pioneer. I thought it was very interesting that the triple jump, for example, came out when we started to become a track event early on in my track career, and that was fascinating to me because I hadn't seen it done, and here I was doing it, and that was very exciting. But no, I didn't necessarily think of myself as a pioneer. My husband's grandmother was a wrestler, if you can imagine, and he was in wrestling himself. So I think that there were opportunities out there. There are a lot of running opportunities. And I know it's because there were women before me who broke those barriers, and we weren't left simply with cheerleading or with other things that supported the men's sports. But I'm glad to be thought of as a pioneer in a way. Thank you.
Can you talk about some of the other athletes, some of the other student athletes that were involved in some of these sports with you that meant a lot to you, some of your teammates in these sports, track and cross country and gymnastics?
Well, one of the first names that comes to mind in gymnastics was Jen Lee Kaiser, as I mentioned earlier. She had very positive spirit, very excellent work ethic. Julie Hagen was someone who was in cross country, and talk about quiet strength and determination and never quit, and so gracious and kind. Really a champion in my eyes. Inspired people, very kind, and always gave 100%. Another person in track that I would say motivated me and supported me would be Heather Greenwood. She was someone who, after she got out of high school, I think her 400-meter time in high school it never broke a minute. And I know that after she got into college, she took several seconds off of that time. I don't remember the exact amount, but I remember looking at that. I think Ann Kohlross-Ott had, she's a high school teacher here in the Phi Ed department here in Marshfield Senior High, and she had shown me some of these stats on Heather, and it was just phenomenal, the improvement she made and the great strides she made afterward. Well, while she was here, she was a year older than I was. She was a senior when I was a junior. She always had a positive word to say to a teammate. She was quiet in some ways, but very determined, and she was always there. She was always ready to go. If you put her, it's the lead-off runner, ready to go. If you're, second runner, ready to go. Third runner, ready to go. She didn't care where she was going to be. She was an excellent asset to the team. Great woman.
Julie, you were certainly a very talented athlete and had, as you mentioned, a lot of avenues open to you. I'm just curious why you chose the sports that you chose, because so many young ladies may have gone the volleyball, basketball, softball route, and you went another route. And why was it that those sports appealed to you as opposed to some other ones?
I haven't thought of that. I guess when I was young, there were, like I said, a lot of boys in the neighborhood, and you could always, if I could run faster than boys, how fabulous that would be. So that was a fun thing to do. I like the immediate gratification of track. You sign up for the event, you run, you go as fast as you can, and at the end you get the medal, you get the prize. I liked the hurdles were especially exciting for me because it was something you could work on. It wasn't just necessarily raw skill or just it was. You could definitely improve. I mean, Coach Sherburne worked on me with form, and you could work on not only your speed, but your form over the hurdles, your start time, that kind of thing. So I think that's what geared me to that. Gymnastics was fun because, there were so many different events, so you never got bored. Always something fun to work on.
How about the experience of athletics at Marshfield High School and how that assisted you later in life?
Well, thanks to Coach Greenwood, who got me organized in my last year there at Marshfield Senior High School, I was able to go and get a small scholarship to University of Wisconsin-Madison. And talk about steering someone in the right direction. That was a phenomenal school. I did a semester there and a semester of running there, and then that was the end of my track career there. But I was able to run with the likes of Susie Favor Hamilton, who had a great work ethic, and I'd always run against her my whole career. She's the same age as I am. We were in the same grade, and so I think that's how athletics shaped my life. It made me be a team player. It helped me focus. It was a great release, when you're stressed about tests, stressed about interactions with other people in your with your peers. It is a phenomenal way to get through life and get a smile on your face and look great and feel good all at the same time. And then it steered me to this college, and UW-Madison was a great place to land. A lot of teachers, professors there who immediately take an investment in their students, even if they only have them for a semester. So sports definitely has played a pivotal role in my life. Very fortunate.
Former Marshfield Tiger sports standout Julie Jansen, inducted into the Marshfield Tiger Athletic Hall of Fame in the fall of 2008. This is Gene DeLisio reporting for WDLB and WOSQ.